Hi everybody, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and helping us grow. It still looks as though only 5.3% of you who are watching our content are actually subscribed to the channel. You guys have done great in helping to get that number up a little bit, but we still need more people to hit subscribe so that we can help our channel to grow. If you like our content, we really encourage you. Please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so that you know when we release new videos. And we'll keep releasing great new content for you guys as often as we can. Thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. Hello everybody, welcome to the official 85 Studios podcast, Season 1, Episode 7. How's everybody doing today? I'm Elijah, and I'm here with
TroyBoy.
And we are not in your ordinary, average place where we normally record this podcast. You may notice it's a little bit echoey in here. We are in the not yet Troy's official studio in his new house. And I've got the laptop here, the old Acer laptop that I actually put Windows 10 on and removed a bunch of programs that would run in the background and slow it down so that it can actually run Windows 10. And that's Windows 10. And they got Windows 11 out, right?
Yeah, so, Windows 11 Pro, that's a weird one.
That's...
I remember when Windows XP was like the big thing to have back in like high school and grade school era. Like,
well, that's
awesome.
High school and grade school for you, but I actually was trained on Windows XP configuration certification, and that's where I got my A+ certification, MCSE, MCSA, and C# classes for college.
Back when having a Windows, or what was it? What was the processor that was big then in college?
Pentium 1, Pentium 4. By the time I was out of college, it was a Pentium 4. I remember my old desktop was actually a Pentium, and it was the latest and greatest, sharpest thing ever. Intel Pentium, and then they had Celeron chips out there also that were kind of a generic low-grade Intel processor.
Yeah, so, see, and then it became a dinosaur some 10 years later. This is why I'll never buy a smart TV, man. They're all great and brilliant, and they're like $1,000, and then they work for like 7 years, and then you get stuck on a YouTube channel and won't load, and you can't do anything because the remote doesn't work anymore.
Speaking of YouTube channels, the reason why I was so late getting out here today, I was watching a YouTube video where these divers, I can't remember what the channel is called, but I'll link it in the description if I remember it. For this video. But yeah, I was watching these divers. They were reacting to a video where these crazy, I think they were Ukrainian guys, were actually at Chernobyl, the actual Chernobyl, the site where the meltdown was. And they actually were going to dive into this water because they were trying to get to the fourth reactor. The fourth reactor, if you guys remember right, was the one that actually melted down first and exploded. And then they put it in something that's called a coffin. And it's just this great big concrete box that they put it in to kind of keep the radiation levels down. Yeah. And supposedly there was a way to get to it, but it was all underground tunnels and stuff, but they were flooded up with water. And that's why they were trying to get to it, was they were trying to dive through this nasty radioactive water that basically was like just ungodly dangerous and unbelievably horrifyingly, terrifyingly bad. And yeah, they
it's crazy.
They put a goldfish bowl on this one guy's head and then like put cellophane on him, like this black cellophane stuff that was like saran wrap, and sent him down with an air hose inside the fish tank bowl, and somebody up top was like trying to pump it with a foot pump, like air pump, and they were surprised it didn't work. And then later on in the video, they actually went and got all this scuba diving equipment that like was professional type equipment, but it was frozen. So they went basically ice diving in radioactive water. Now that's got to be some kind of new certification. I mean, I've never heard of such a thing. Unbelievably dangerous. But I haven't gotten to like the other parts of it, but supposedly they went back and did it in multiple videos. So that's insane. Absolutely crazy.
And, you know, I thought that door that was held together by super glue and duct tape was bad. That's even worse.
Okay, could you imagine, guys? Could you imagine scuba diving in like radioactive water? Like they're reading like 1,500 rads or something like that. God. I don't know what they're measured in, but yeah, 1,500 on the guy's wetsuit when he went in, because he actually had a wetsuit, like a dry suit, you know, and like for diving. And tanks and a mask. I mean, the water's freezing. It's got ice on it, about 7 inches of ice on top of it, at least 7 inches. They break through the ice and they send him in there. And he goes down the staircase. He's way overweighted because he's literally walking on the bottom, not diving like swimming diving. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, dangerous as can possibly be. They have a rope hooked to him with a carabiner, which actually broke off and went flying when he pulled it out, because like they were freaked out and they pulled on it and all that. No, and then like they were saying, these guys were saying, now I'm not a diver, I don't know anything about diving, but these guys were saying, the two professional divers that were commenting on it, they were saying things like, well, your regulator froze because you are underwater and then you come out of the water and then your regulator's going to freeze. They say once you go ice diving and you're in the water, keep your regulator in the water, because if you don't, then something about the air around it can get below 32 degrees and it'll freeze it and all this other stuff. These guys are really smart. They're really cool. I'll link to them or something if I remember it later. But yeah, that's a cool channel. And that's a really cool video, but God, I've never seen anything like that on YouTube. That's just terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, I was going to talk about the situation was going on this week. I was actually off for a whole week because my place where I work at closed down for an entire week. And I was supposed to come to work for one day, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my vacation day and just not even bother coming into work. Because what's the point of working for one day and then be off the other 2 days? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So I took vacation, and of course they weren't too happy about it, but I had a lot of stuff I had to get done. That's what I told them. So I started out cleaning this house, and I don't know if I've ever talked about it before, but this place was a complete disgusting nightmare. I mean, it was messy. Like, it had an infestation of cockroaches, which was disgusting. It had bed bugs, ungodly. I mean, just bed bugs everywhere. I mean, it had spiders. Every species of spider in Kansas had its own ecosystem. And then we had ants. And then what happened was I started moving all the trash out of the house and everything. There were rooms that were so full of trash you couldn't even walk in there when I bought the place.
Yeah.
So I moved all that trash out. Took 28 loads of trash with my little pickup. And we finally got it all cleaned out except for, the major areas. And then what happened was all the food that was out of there, well, these spiders and roaches had nothing to eat. So they started eating each other. Yeah. It was crazy. Like, I had never seen anything like that before in my life. Apparently, the roaches were being eaten by the spiders, and the ants were attacking the spiders, and the bed bugs were getting eaten basically by the spiders as well. So all that happened within about a month, and then winter hit, so I didn't really do any work in the house for about a month or two. When I came back, most everything was dead. It's like everything had pretty much taken care of itself.
Wow. Whole ecosystem.
Pretty much. Crazy. There was no food in the house, so they pretty much ate each other.
The circle of life.
Just thinking about that, it's like, but yeah, I finally bug bombed the house, and the spiders and the ants were the hardest things to kill, and it took it 8 times. I had to bug bomb this whole place 8 times using 20 canisters of fogger. Wow! Eventually, they all died, but it took 20 canisters. Like those fogger canisters you can get, 20 of those suckers.
Wow.
Finally, but it left dust in everywhere. Like, that's what all that powder is.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And then after that, it was still wintertime, cold, and I went to plug in a space heater in an outlet, and it was on low, and the space heater caught on fire. Wow. So the space heater caught on fire, and I put it out with the powder fire extinguisher I had, which left even more powder everywhere. So it was a mess. I mean, I finally got most of that working, but then on top of that, this was like all the stuff happened within. It was like 2 weeks or so of the whole situation with getting the house actually livable and operable. At first I tried to fix the shower, and the shower link was broken, so I had to replace the shower link, and I couldn't get the shower link to fit because it was the wrong size, so I had to modify the head so it'll fit. And that still didn't work because when you turn the water on, both sides turn on, spray water everywhere.
Oh, that's not good.
So I thought, okay, that's not a big deal, right? Well, then I had to buy a new shower from Ace because they don't make that part anymore.
That's plumber's wet dream. See what I did there?
It's terrible. Plumber's wet dream. That was bad.
Wet dream come true.
Oh, God. I'm not a plumber, mind you, but I know what I'm doing when it comes to fixing and fitting pipes because I have experience doing that. I used to be a maintenance guy at the high school, and I did that for years, and sometimes I have to fix stupid stuff like that.
Between Troy and I, if we can't fix it, generally nobody's going to be able to fix it because it's really, really broken at that point.
Well, I got a story about how bad, I had to pay a plumber to go through and fix the sewer line, because at first I didn't realize it, but apparently the sewer line had dried out. And it worked at first. I got the water working, and it was working fine, but it had a slight
sewer gas.
Yeah. It had a slight trickle of water that occasionally go through, but I found out later on that was a broken pipe under the house. But somehow, I've never had this happen before in my life, and the plumber, he's been a plumber for 28 years. He's never seen this either. The water somehow was building up into the line, draining into the line, and going in and backing up. First it backed up in the shower, then it backed up in the toilet, and then it backed up in the sink. And there was water spewing out of the back of the house. Slowly. Wow. Yeah, within the course of about 5 days, everything that was in the sewer line had spewed up into the shower. I'll never forget.
That's disgusting.
There were cigarette butts and everything else coming out of the drain for the shower, and the toilet too. It was just bubbling.
Wow. And by the way, guys, if you're smokers, and I'm a smoker myself, so I have nothing against smokers, but never flush cigarette butts, or never, if you're female, never flush feminine hygiene products down the toilet, and that kind of stuff, because these sewer lines, they're only about
well, mine is only about 3 inches in diameter.
Sometimes they can be as small as 3 inches. You never know what's on the other side of that, and if you start flushing things that are not biodegradable and are large enough that they can plug that pipe, you're going to be in for some serious problems.
It was even worse, though, because they had to go in with this tool, and it's supposed to have a sheath over it that's got a drill, like a rototiller, rotor thing.
The big pipe snake.
Yeah, he's got one of those. They tried to go in the first time, and it kept getting stopped up on something, so they had to pull it out, put it back in there, and drill it, and it has these little blades that chew it up, Mm-hmm. They pulled that thing out 10 times. This took 4 hours. But yeah, I just was going through cutting this crap up, and he pulled out, he was like, "What the heck is this?" And there's all these strings and pieces of cloth. And it's like a little boy's pair of pants.
Okay.
Down the sewer line.
That's weird, considering I don't think the guy that lived here before us...
He didn't have boys, I don't think.
He didn't have boys.
He only had girls.
He had 3 girls.
But somehow a little boy's pair of pants got inside the sewer line where the toilet goes in. So somebody flushed a pair of little boy's pants down the sewer. Well, I don't even know how that happened. They're shorts almost, but they're medium shorts.
How did they even go down through the trap and everything? That's just weird.
I don't know. It was all curled up into a ball and down there.
Wow.
And he pulled it out, and I'll never forget. He's like, you know what? We're gonna need a bigger vacuum because this shop vac ain't gonna be powerful enough to suction all this crap out. So they had to go back. They had to leave and come back. And mind you, I'm still being charged in the process of doing that.
They charge you by the hour?
Yeah.
God.
Charged me by the hour and by equipment used per hour of that, which was pretty rough. But yeah, they had to go through. They drilled it. It took them 4 hours, and they pulled out so many cigarette butts.
Oh my God.
They filled up 2 trash bags full of cigarette butts and other crap. And then they just dumped whatever was liquid out of there out the back door. So
oh my God.
That's why it stinks back there still.
Yeah, it does. It smells bad. I wondered what that... I kept walking by on the way back to my place. I get out of the truck and I'd be like, I smell sewage. What the hell?
It dumped like 20 gallons of sewage out the back door, which, I mean, there must be something. I don't think that's really legal, but that's what they did.
Probably not.
That's what they
probably
did.
Lose your plumbing license for that, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. That's what they did. I'm not going to name the company who did it, but
So they finally get it working?
Yeah, they got the sewer line working finally. It was actually kind of strange what happened. When I first flushed the toilet, there was like a burst of gas that came out.
Oh, yeah, sewer gas.
Oh, God, man. It was the most disgusting smell ever.
Oh, yeah, that's methane. That's methane. It's a good thing you didn't have a lit cigarette when you did that because...
yeah.
Well, I don't know. It has to be an open flame, but that stuff is flammable.
What was that movie? Was it Grown Ups where they had that camp or whatever?
Oh, I never saw that movie.
They had like this camp and there was like a sewer leak or whatever. It's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just methane. They gotta light it and it's like the bathroom explodes.
I never saw that movie. I don't think I ever saw that. I can't remember if that
was Grown Ups or if that was Daddy Day Camp or whatever, but yeah.
I don't think I saw that one either. But, yeah.
At least it didn't happen like that. But yeah, number of issues I had with it, but I still couldn't believe it. I was like, oh man, it was bad. But that was the least of, that was the majority of my problems fixed there. But then there was another situation that came up. The shower in the house never worked. The guy I bought the place from told me that the shower never worked properly. And I started doing some investigations in that to try to figure out what the heck it was. And like I said earlier about that fitting wasn't quite the right size, so I got the right fitting for it. I had to modify the head of the shower, the handle bit, a little bit more. And I got that to work. A little bit. But the problem was when you turn the water on, it doesn't shut off. It just keeps going. So you have to actually go to the back behind the washer and dryer, move that heavy sucker, and then turn off the valve manually.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I had to get a whole new shower system. Well, I wasted my time, pretty much, because the new kit that I bought, they don't make that part anymore, so it's just one solid piece now. It's not one of those divider pieces like what I got. It's discontinued.
That's so good.
Yeah, so I spent like $100 on pretty much nothing, but then I went back, I walked up there the other day, took the part back, got my money back out of it, and they said, oh, that's discontinued, but they still gave me my money back. But now I have one solid piece. But the trouble doesn't end there. I have two male ends that screw in to a female side, but the problem is it's got a gap and a male side on the bottom, which I don't have a fitting for.
Oh, no.
So I have to buy an adapter kit. It's going to look really weird. It's going to take up a lot of space, but yeah.
Can you put it at the back so it's not visible in the front?
Well, I can put it out the back, yeah, but I'm going to have to take that wall out to put a new one in, because it's built into the wall.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, the wall's broken anyway, because some guy bigger than me must have fallen on it.
Wow.
I mean, well, they broke that 2x4 in half. I don't know how they did that, but they broke it.
I mean,
he's not a big dude, but I mean, how did he?
Maybe you have some 300-pound guy come in here and just sit on it or something?
I mean, you have to sit on the wall. I mean, even I couldn't break that thing. That's broken.
300 pounds or something, maybe.
Yeah, I'm only 180.
You've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I used to be 236, and now I'm down to 176. So amazingly, all within 3 months. Miraculously enough, I don't know how.
You see, I'm still about 158, so I can't get above 160 to save my life.
So I guess I gotta buy some adapters that'll fit that, which is even more issues. Gotta find the right adapters that'll fit that, and then I gotta put that together. So that will be a problem solved. But I have another issue where they have to inspect the gas lines to make sure the pressure is right, make sure I don't have any leaks, and I know that water heater's broken, so I gotta pull the old water heater out of my old house, put it in the new house. But I'm planning on going electric eventually anyway, but electric stuff is so expensive these days, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I'll just stick with my gas for a while, and hopefully it won't be too much more expensive.
Oh, yeah, and that hot water heater has a hole in it.
Oh, it does, yeah. The old one, yeah.
Must have been rusted through. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, that's the one that's the water heater's in this house currently.
Yeah.
The one that, oh man, it was so bad. And what was even worse was when I finally did get the spigot to spray water out, there was like compressed in nasty cockroaches inside that line water that come out.
Wow,
when I took the,
how'd they get in?
I don't even know. Like, 'cause it's sealed off. It's got a shower head on it and everything.
Huh.
So when I went to turn it on, the new shower head had got clogged up. And I was like, what the heck? So I unscrewed it. And when I unscrewed it, it just like sprayed pressure water out of there. And it was nothing but rusty crap and
Oh,
roaches
wow.
and
That's
they were the most disgusting thing. I was going to take a shower in that. I was going to take a cold shower in that. I'm glad I didn't now.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you didn't either. It would have been worse than not taking a shower. It's the equivalent of getting more dirty when you turn on the water.
It's like, hey, you want to take a dirty shower? All right.
But just go outside and jump in a mud puddle or something. Be cleaner, you know.
Ugh, man, I'd rather bathe in a sewer line than that.
Is equivalent? Yes.
But yeah, that was disgusting. But you know what was weird is, I mean, you guys were here last time when Drew came to visit and everything.
Oh yeah. What'd you guys think of that other podcast, season 1, episode 6, with Drew boy, Drew my man? He's our other brother. We never get to see him. He's from here originally. Him and our mom, moved to Nebraska. He's actually a news anchor, and I can't remember what TV station. Not an anchor.
He's a
producer.
Producer. That's right.
So he's a news producer, and he actually produces the news that you hear on the air. What TV station was that?
Oh, it's out of. Well, he's in Hastings, Nebraska, but I think the one he's through is Grand Island. I'm not for sure. I'm not.
I think
certain.
So I'd have to look that up. But yeah, thanks, Drew, man. You're really cool, and I really appreciated him being on the podcast. Troy was busy; he had to work, and then I missed his 10 days off because I was on, and I had to work, and we didn't get the podcast done.
It's like when I'm at work, you're off. When I'm off work, you're on work. Yep, so it's like, oh
exactly. My gosh. Opposite, conflicting schedules. And when I'm on day shift, I've been on day shift. There is no night shift where I work. Mm-hmm. But he's on night shift, so we're on opposite schedules there. I guess that means that somebody's always home to kind of keep an eye on things, but still, it kind of sucks. We never see each other, but we live right next to each other. We're brothers, you know? Yeah. So when we do manage to get together, like tonight, for instance, it's like probably 2 in the morning, like 2:30 in the morning right now as we're doing this, and it's the day after Easter, so it's the 18th. Hey, it's Holly's birthday.
Yeah.
Today.
Well,
and happy birthday to our sister Holly.
I don't believe it's the 18th.
Today's the 18th, April 18th, 2022. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Holly.
I can't believe it.
Holly's our other brother. Holly's our sister.
Yeah.
Older sister. She is 2 years older than us. I don't know if she listens to any of our stuff, but if you're listening, Holly, happy birthday, 2022. And she's 2 years older than me. I'm 36, so she'd be 38 today. So happy birthday. With that, we're kind of winging it today because we have no idea what other than that we're talking about.
Well, see,
we're going to talk about this house a little bit.
I got something this just goes to show, and I talked about all the trash I pulled out of this place and how nasty it is.
Yeah.
Well, when you guys were here, I had mopped the floor, right? I mopped that floor 8 times in 3 days, and the water was still coming up like gray, like midnight black and gray. And it was so nasty that I actually clogged up my toilet. I had to go through and plunge my toilet and clean it up because that water, it has like a waxy, nasty texture of some kind. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
That could be the cockroach cockroach stuff.
How do you have cockroaches that bad?
Well, remember the cabinets in the kitchen were so full of dead carcasses of cockroaches.
Yeah, it was bad.
And cockroach flecking and feces.
Be healthy, man.
How do you live in a house that has a cockroach infestation that's so bad?
I think that's why they abandoned it. I really
must have been crawling here. And remember, I was wondering why I was getting cockroaches in my house.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty clean. I mean, I keep things pretty clean and straightened up. And I sprayed for cockroaches once, and it's a camper. It's a 38-foot fifth wheel camper. There's no reason why I put 4 bug bombs down, the foggers, and there were no cockroaches, and then all of a sudden, within 2 weeks, all of a sudden I had cockroaches again, and it was after they moved out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, see, they even left a fridge full of food with no electricity for 2 years.
Yeah,
that was the nastiest thing in the world to clean up. I had to throw away that fridge.
What must have happened is when they moved out, the cockroaches must have not had enough food, and so they started spreading out. And do you remember the house that our park manager, was showing us a double white over there, the blue one.
Yeah, that one was bad.
It was so full of roaches that when he bug bombed the first time, he didn't kill all of them, and they were still alive and they were walking around, but they were walking slower. And the kitchen floor, he had taken a broom, he'd swept them up, and the kitchen floor, you couldn't even see the floor, the tile, because there were so many cockroaches there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we kind of backed out. We were like, no.
Well, not to mention they wanted $15,000 for that place. And I'm not paying $15,000.
Well, even the old run-down one with no walls over there, 33, he wants, $2,500 for? And it's gutted.
That one's not worth it.
And it's got a hole in this kitchen ceiling that goes from the kitchen ceiling through a vent, through a rusty old fan, and straight to the sky. And it's going all the way through. The water has corroded the floor. It's been there so long. In the kitchen, it's gone through the floor and down to the ground.
I got a story too, man, on the disgusting side. I mean, I don't even know how this happened, and I'm trying to keep a straight face when I'm telling this story, but there was a pair of socks that was in the hallway. In fact, the stain's probably still there, actually. I mean, I think I mopped it up pretty good, but Pine Sol. There was this magazine that was stuck to the floor, and I got the magazine off the floor. But these blacked pair of socks, they used to be white. They turned black.
Oh.
They were so hardened to the floor, I had to use a rake to get them off.
Wow.
A rake.
You heard it here first, guys. Socks that stand up by themselves, then fall down and start to putrefy to the floor. All by themselves.
It stained my floor like gray. Like, I mean, I can't get that stain out very well. Like, there's still a line. Like, I've mopped that floor 12 times, actually, now.
I can't get that image out of my head, either.
And that sock, I used a hard rake, like something you use on concrete. I was worried about scratching the floor, but it was so dirty that I just scraped the dirt off.
Yeah.
But I used a concrete rake that our neighbor had, and he let me borrow a concrete rake. He's like, this has got to be the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But I tried everything. I tried getting it wet and tried to pry it off.
And they just wouldn't come off?
Yeah, they wouldn't come off. It was between the hallway and that room there. There was a sock there.
They attached themselves.
That sock was so hardened to the floor, it had, like, petrified into the wood.
Bonded themselves to the wood.
I'm like, how did that even happen?
Wow.
Like, how does that even happen? Like,
my mind is ripping up
dumbfounded.
Snap together flooring, wood flooring, hardwood flooring. Trying to pull up a pair of socks off the floor.
Yeah, a pair of socks.
God.
I thought it was just one sock. No, it's two socks paired together.
Wow.
They had hardened themselves.
What causes that? That's terrifying.
I don't know, but
who was wearing those? And, I mean, what did he do? Just dip his feet in, like, spaghetti sauce or something? I don't know. Barbecue sauce?
It wasn't sticky. It was hard. I mean, it was like petrified wood.
Like tar, maybe? Like, that's like tar sock?
I don't even want to know. I mean, it was, ugh.
I'm thinking clean here, and that would be the cleanest way that you could do is something like that. Just like
tar 'em.
Tar, yeah.
Yeah, there was food in that closet too.
Maybe he was trying to make a wetsuit or something, and like he started with the socks. It's like, I don't ever want my feet to get wet again. I'm gonna go diving in these. And then just like gave up halfway, threw him across the hall, and like, no.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there was food in that hallway at one time. It was in jars that had leached. It was a can that apparently had burst.
God.
And that was trickled down the wall. That's why there's no drywall on that side. I had that drywall because it was so ruined. It had I think it was tomato sauce. I'm not sure. But it was in a can. It had burst. And it was so acidic that it had eaten the drywall.
Wow.
And it had dripped down, and it was on the stuff that was in there.
And it was so bad the cockroaches didn't even eat it all?
Apparently not.
Wow, cockroaches are smarter than I thought they were.
I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, that is the nastiest thing I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, I used a metal concrete rake, to scrape those socks off. Because everything else was out of there except for that pair of socks.
That's horrendous. That's gross.
I mean, yeah, and when I finally got them up, I grabbed my rubber gloves and my face shield and peeled it off of there. I threw it in the dumpster, and it was so hard, it was like throwing a rock. A rock. It made the same sound as a rock when it hit that dumpster. I'm like, that is... I mean, I had to go outside. Like, I was hungry before. When I did this, I lost my appetite.
I don't blame you. I don't think I'd want to eat either after seeing something like that.
And the fact that it was my favorite brand, Ragu tomato sauce, was even worse.
That's sad. I love Ragu.
They're just like, I'm sorry, I don't want to eat this. I'm not going to eat that.
Never again. Nope.
It's worse
I
than,
think I'm put off of spaghetti for at least a good half a year.
Yeah, months. That was...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Actually, spaghetti sounds amazing right now. I got a high blood sugar, so I'm hungry.
I have to wonder, though, I mean, why would you put food in the middle of a closet? Like, it's not even near the kitchen. It's, like, between the two bedrooms. And they had a shelf in there with food, canned food in there. Been there for so long.
Maybe they were using it as a pantry.
No. I mean, don't they have... I mean, they have, like, 8 cabinets. I mean...
Yeah, but they're all full of roaches and roach feces.
It's so
full that they can't really even put anything in there. That's disgusting. Those things were crawling on their dishes. They had pictures that the kids had painted and colored that were up on the walls that were so covered in roach flecking and feces, especially the backs of them, because roaches like to eat paper. And particularly the adhesive that that holds the paper together. Yeah. There was so much roach flecking that when we removed these pictures off the walls were... And actually, you can see that in some of the earlier videos when we were doing the paranormal investigations.
So you gotta clean the rest of the walls off, too.
It was absolutely disgusting. In fact, this room here is probably one of the most clean rooms I've seen in a very long time, actually, because Troy did a lot of work on this area here.
This room alone took 10 hours, as small as this is, just to clean it. And I'm still not done. I still got to pull that outlet thing out of there and clean the inside of that out and vacuum it. That door I'm going to throw away because it's mostly made of glue, which the cockroaches ate that door, I found out, which is why it's so hollow. Yeah. Actually, that door had cardboard inside of it. Mm-hmm. It's hollow now.
Wow.
It has
must have really gotten hungry.
Yeah, it's got a hole.
No wonder they were coming over to my place.
Yeah, it's got a hole in the back. It's a cardboard door.
I don't have food out. I have, a lot of times I will have like paper products. They were trying to eat my ream of printer paper, particularly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I got my printer there next to my desk, my Canon printer, and then I have a drawer, upper left drawer that I keep like my Post-it notes and my printer paper in. Oh, yeah. So they ate the glue off of my Post-it notes, so now my Post-it notes don't even stick anymore. Wow. I have to go buy some more Post-it notes. And
it's crazy.
They ate my... I pulled a piece of printer paper off the ream, so I could put it in the printer, and I could print something. And I think it was for like my... something for my car insurance. A proof of insurance for my car insurance.
Yeah.
Because at the time I didn't have cell data service, so... now I can just pull it up on my phone if I ever get pulled over. But back then, I needed to have it printed because I wouldn't be able to pull it up on the road if I got pulled over. And so I'd get a ticket for it for no insurance. And I'd have to take it to court, prove that I had insurance and all that. Well, so I started printing out my proof of coverage.
Yeah.
And they freaking ate. They got in between my pieces of paper in my ream of paper. And there was roach feces inside of it. And they deteriorated it to the point that I had to actually throw away an entire ream of printer paper.
Yeah.
And they had come over there from here. Because this is the closest place that they could have been. Oh, and your old house, when you moved in, it had roaches really bad too. And we couldn't figure out why.
Yeah.
Why the roaches were so bad in this area.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was because of this place having roaches.
And have you noticed?
Bad.
Have you noticed that the roaches have kind of faded out since I cleaned all this?
I have not seen a single roach at my place. Not one.
The only other place I could think of is the neighbor right across the street. He has them really, really bad too.
Well, they probably have food out. And one thing you got to learn about roaches is if you live in a place like this, always keep your food sealed up tight. Put it in Tupperware. If it's something that doesn't need to be refrigerated but can be at room temperature and you don't want to refrigerate it, keep it in a Tupperware, something airtight, because roaches have an incredible sense of smell. But more importantly, keep paper products sealed up put them in airtight bags, like gallon freezer bags and that kind of stuff. And even more importantly than that, if you have any water leaks, roaches cannot live more than a day without water. Yeah. But they can live up to a week without food. So if you have a water leak or you have water pipes that are cold and then they're collecting condensation, like humidity, and they're wet, you may want to do something with that and very carefully control the humidity in your house as well. So get a dehumidifier or turn on the AC and let it kind of...
that was another thing.
Dehumidify.
The AC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my God, the filter on that thing.
Oh my God.
I had nightmares about that.
That filter, I mean, okay, on the front of your air conditioning unit, you have what's called an intake.
Mm-hmm.
And that intake usually is like, it's got a filter over it that's made out of usually a polymer-based netting. That's what this was. And it's got a plastic outline around it. Well, that little netting ream around there was so full of dirt and hair and cockroach fracking, you name it. It was disgusting. There were roaches inside there.
I'll be brief about this, and to make a long story short, the way your air conditioner system actually works, whether you know it or not, the inside coil that gets cold is actually called the evaporator coil, and the air that comes out the vent on the front of your window air conditioner actually passes through that evaporator coil, which gets cold, which cools the air. And as it passes through that, before it passes through that, it goes through that filter. And what that filter does is prevents the evaporator coil from getting plugged up. It catches all the dust and dirt and grunge and grime before it hits your evaporator coil, because when your evaporator coil gets cold and it's humid, it actually will get wet. And as a result, anything that's dusty, dirty, particles, hair, grunge, grime, grease, or not grease, sorry, anything that's airborne in the air gets sucked into that, and if that filter weren't in place, what it would do is it would form a muddy, grungy, dusty paste, and it would clog up that evaporator coil, and it would cause it to basically no longer be able to flow air. So that's why they put a filter on the front of that, so that it can collect that. Well, this filter... Oh my God, I have never seen a air conditioner filter. I've been into nasty hotel rooms, right? And I've seen some nasty air conditioning units that were plugged up pretty bad. But at a certain point, you will start getting nasty stuff going through that filter if it's plugged up, particularly things like mold and mildew, if they're in that filter. Because of the moisture again. In Kansas, moisture and that kind of stuff, it'll generate humidity, and it'll generate mildew, mold. Mold spores can get through that. It's not a HEPA filter. It's not something that's designed to filter that out. So you'll start breathing that stuff in, and you can actually get diseases if that filter's not cleaned out. So as dirty as that was, I'm really, really surprised that nobody got sick from that. Or if anybody didn't get sick from that, because I'm pretty sure that they would have. Because that was absolutely the most horrendous, disgusting air filter I've ever seen on an air conditioner.
I had to use a tool that wasn't exactly designed or intended for cleaning filters.
Yeah.
You know that putty knife, the plastic putty knife?
Oh, God.
I had to use that sucker to scrape that out of there. And I did, and it came out in layers.
Oh.
And, you know how when you have, those styrofoam things we buy for insulation, how they're all compressed together?
Yeah.
Well, when I was scraping that out, it puffed.
Oh,
that's
God.
what I did, dude. I mean, it puffed. It was like, oh, God.
Oh, it's a really good thing you did that outside.
Yeah, I did.
Because that'd be right back
I tried to do it in the house, but the minute I touched that scraper on it, it swelled up huge. It's like, I'm taking this outside. So I took it outside and used a scraper and scraped it all off.
Yeah, and I noticed you used the hose on it, too.
I used the hose, too, man. I sprayed that hose.
Some scary stuff.
Super thick hair, about 2 inches thick. Oh. And the rest of it was roach fracking and dead roaches.
Oh, God.
And then I grabbed after that, I finally cleaned it off and dried it off. I had to go where the filter attached into the AC and shop vac that thing out. And it was full of, nasty,
disgusting. Oh, my God.
And even after doing that, we ran in the house for a little while, but then it got cold all of a sudden.
Yep.
And then I went back out, And I cleaned it again because there was areas behind that where the box attaches in that was full of roaches.
Still, I'm a little bit concerned about the operation and how well that is going to operate because when it was sitting on the floor in here, now the coil on the outside, actually, it will get hot, and it actually has fins on the back of it, and your Freon is going to go through that tube, and when Freon compresses, it gets warm. When it decompresses, it gets cold. On the back side of that is your condenser coil, and that's the one that's outside that blows that hot air out.
Right.
It's going to... Now, the fins on that have been kicked. Yeah. I tried to straighten them out as best I could, but I don't have that special comb tool. Plus, a lot of them are broken. Yeah. So those fins that are on there, they actually act as a radiator, and what they do is they increase the surface area, kind of like a heat sink, that will keep that condenser coil cooler. Yeah. Now, one of the tricks that you can do if your AC unit is not putting out any cold air in the summertime and it's really hot and it's really dry outside is you can take a cup of water and you can put it over that condenser coil and cool it down. And that's because your AC unit is overheating. So it will actually start blowing colder air that way. Yeah. But if those fins are messed up, or if they're not facing the right direction, or if they're missing, like in this case, a lot of them are broken, bent, missing, or just not in the correct place, your AC unit will not be able to keep up, because what it does is it decreases the cooling capacity of that outside coil.
Well, not to mention, I mean, I'm really concerned about, like, as much as I've done, and I'm saying this vaguely and weirdly, but I haven't actually taken the long hose with my vacuum cleaner and actually gone underneath the house and cleaned out those vent pipes. Yeah. Fully. I've suctioned out the surface areas where the vent covers are, but I haven't actually gone in detail on it. I found all kinds of weird stuff in there, like kids' toys, bugs, spiders.
A lot of bugs.
A lot of dead mice. A lot of dead mice. Wow.
No wonder it stunk in here when we first got the place.
So many dead mice.
Dead mice, bugs. Oh, by the way, I never realized how... Because I'd never seen this large of a concentration of roaches in a place before. Yeah. That had been sealed off and enclosed. I never realized that roaches actually have a smell.
Yeah. I didn't either.
They really stink. They stink bad. I mean, oh my God.
I've never had a smell that bad.
Bad in here.
It smells a lot better than it did, that's for sure. I still have that smell in here briefly, but I'll have to clean the rest of the ceilings. But
it's not as bad as it was. You can sort of smell it. It's like
the couch was a big source of that smell. When I pulled the couch out, it smells better in here.
Oh, that couch is weird too.
Oh yeah, that couch is weird.
Let's talk about some of the paranormal activity that's in here. Some of the objects we found.
It's funny. Melvin, or not, I shouldn't say his name. Nice. But the guy that went out here and... what's funny about this, the guy that came in here to help me get the crap out of here, he took a mirror. Remember that shell mirror?
Yeah.
I couldn't sell it because nobody wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
And I put that thing online, and I even said, hey, look, this is kind of a weird mirror, trying to sell it. People had, saw it on the picture, where they're like, man, that thing gives me nightmares. That thing's creepy. I'll never buy that. Yeah. A lot of people said that.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sell it. And the mirror is perfectly fine. It's like from the 1960s, and it's a hard shell, ceramic, and it's got real glass in it, silver in the back. Nice mirror, but it's creepy. Well, the guy that took that out of there and took the big wooden table that was mostly eaten by roaches, surprisingly. A wooden table, particle board table.
Oh yeah, if they get desperate enough, they'll eat anything.
He picked up that mirror and he said, man, I don't know where this thing's been, but it has a definite weird vibe to it. And he's not even one of those guys that believes much in paranormal.
Yeah.
He was saying, I don't like this. This is really weird.
And the other thing that we were talking about earlier was we cleaned out the shed. We had the same guy
the shed too.
Come and clean out the shed. Well, the night before he had come and gotten all this stuff out of the shed to take to the dump, I walk up to the shed and it's broad daylight. And Troy's like... There's something creepy about this shed. It's just really creepy. Yeah. And I walked up to the shed and instantly I zeroed in on this...
That 1950s lamp was in there.
Lamp. Yeah, the lamp.
Early 50s.
I didn't get a good look at the lamp, but I knew immediately that there was an energy about that lamp. It's kind of like, you know the feeling how if somebody's really, really, really angry, and they have a history of being extremely temperamental and angry all the time, and they're extremely pissed off, you know that energy, that vibe you kind of get from them when you're near them, or when they're nearby and you know they're coming home or something, you got to live with them. That kind of energy was coming off of that lamp. It was unmistakable. Zeroed in on it immediately. I have to wonder,
too. There was that mattress in it that was burned up, too.
Yep. There was a burned up mattress.
Sense to me. Like, I wonder what the heck they were doing. Like, were they smoking in bed or something?
I suspect that that might have happened while it was in the shed, because we have neighborhood kids around here, and they like to start fires. So you got to be real careful. And that's something else I was going to tell you. These kids around here, they like to start fires. So be very careful of that, because they're pyros. And they're kids, you know, they'll light something on fire if it's not locked up and it's got something flammable in it, just to see what happens. You know, they'll watch the fire.
I have to wonder if it wasn't one of those situations, but I mean, I still couldn't believe how much crap was in that shed.
I've never seen a shed so full.
He had an entire full-size loader trailer full of trash, and he had his pickup truck bed full of stuff, and he had to go back and get another load. And there was so much of it.
Now that the shed's all cleaned out, that vibe is gone. Yeah. That feeling's gone.
And now that the tree's cut down, the vibe's gone too.
Something's very angry out there about that tree being cut down. Something to do with the land, some kind of spirit. I can sense that. Oh, and that couch. Now that that couch is out of here, it feels a lot more peaceful in here.
Yeah.
It seems like the energy level in here has calmed tremendously.
Still don't like the feeling of that. I mean, the bunk bed's gone. The couch is outside. The mirror's gone, which helped tremendously. The table and those chairs was really creepy. Got rid of all that. I'm going to put my own stuff in here. That's why I'm getting rid of all that crap. Yeah. Plus, I mean, you can't use... I mean, nobody could use that couch. I mean, it's so full of... Yeah, couch was so full of dog crap, it was ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, it was before I even bought the house. The couch
I wonder why that couch has such an angry vibe to it, though. That's really weird that it would have such an angry vibe.
Well, when he had his dogs in here, they probably used it as a toilet.
Well, yeah, but why would it have an angry feeling to it? Like it's angry.
It's weird. That's a fairly new couch. Actually, it's kind of sad to see it go and it got destroyed like that, because that was actually a nice felt couch.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sitting on a plush leather couch here, but...
Yep. It's a noisy couch, though.
It makes it. When it's cold and you sit on this thing, it makes farting noises. So it does. It was the chair.
It was the chair.
In this case, it was the couch.
Yes, the chair.
That was Scary Movie 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, the one with that making fun of the Matrix.
Oh, by the way, I got the old Xbox working and the newer one working.
Oh, you got both of them working now. Yeah. Nice.
That one was full of cockroach fracking. That one had a bad power supply.
Oh, okay.
That thing was so full of cockroach frack. That came with the house when I bought it.
Yeah.
It was so full of cockroach fracking, I used alcohol to clean it.
Cockroaches destroy electronics. Their feces is actually conductive, and
I replaced the main circuit board in there too.
Electronics. So, yep. Anything you have that's electronic.
When you have some time, I'm also going to have to take a look at the outlet in the kitchen that doesn't work. I suspect that that's a cockroach situation too.
It could very well be. Is it a GFCI?
Yeah.
Yeah, GFCI has an electronic circuit inside of it also. Our best bet would be to just go ahead and replace it with a new one. They're a little bit pricey, but they're not bad.
Well, I still have that one in the bathroom in the old place I'm not using right now. So
yeah.
I'm going to tear that one down.
And I'm certified to do electrical, so...
I still think that the worst thing I encountered, this beats the socks in the hallway that were stuck to the floor. It beats those.
I'm surprised.
The nastiest thing that I ever encountered in this house that I still cannot believe was that collection of weird kids' toys.
Weird kids' toys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor Olaf, man. He was
Olaf. I forgot about him.
The snowman.
Oh, and that weird horse thing.
The horse? Yeah.
Electrical horse.
The farting horse.
Yeah.
It was a unicorn thing. It's like you pick it up and... What the heck?
What the hell? And he goes, hee 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 hee. What the fuck?
Just thinking to myself,
weird shit.
Just creepy and weird. Okay.
Like, okay, what
Olaf,
in
though.
the hell?
He was on that old mattress and went to haul the mattress out, and I couldn't get him off. He was stuck to the mattress.
Oh, no. Oh, that's so
carrot
awful.
His nose fell off, and it was like green, like inside. I was like...
It's kind of like Taz. I've got Taz sitting in the front windshield of the 77 Ford Ranchero GT. He started out, he had black hair, and he had pure white eyes, you know, just Tasmanian Devil, you know, from... Space Jam.
Yeah.
Space Jam.
Space Jam, yeah.
And he had a Space Jam shirt on. Mm-hmm. And after a while sitting there in the windshield, now he's got blonde hair and blonde eyebrows, now no longer black. And his eyes, the plastic on his eyes is dry rotted. And so they're cracking. They get little cracks in them and the paint's peeling off. And it's like a bummer, but,
oh, man.
you know, he looks really cool there. So I'll leave him there.
I still couldn't believe it, though.
Afraid if I move him, he'll crumble. Gotten some serious sun.
I can't believe that Olaf's nose fell off. It was stuck to the mattress.
Oh, God.
The cockroaches ate the thread on his nose.
That's terrible.
I was just like, man, that's sad. You know, why wouldn't they take it with them when they moved out? But apparently it must have been already ruined. But
yeah,
that was the weirdest thing.
Like,
Olaf turned brown.
Almost everything in here except
gray.
for the house itself. Anything that was left here is pretty much going to be, it was left here for a reason. It's because they didn't want to keep it because it was either already ruined, they didn't have room for it, or they didn't want to take it.
Well, not to mention, I mean, God, it would have been so nice because they had a flat panel stove, glass top ceramic. They ruined that. The roaches destroyed that.
Yep.
They had a full-size double door adjustable fridge, which was really nice. It was actually one of those.
Let me tell you the reason why
fridges.
roaches like electronics.
I think it's because of the glue, isn't it?
There's two reasons.
Oh yeah.
One, being it electronics is a hobby of mine. There is this stuff that we use called flux.
Oh, okay.
And if you do soldering on electronics, what you do is you basically put your tip in the flux and you put the solder in the flux and you go ahead and put your bead of solder on. Well, that flux, they love flux.
Oh, wow.
And two, electronics put off heat.
Oh, yeah.
And they are attracted to heat because they're cold-blooded. They're cold-blooded creatures. They have to stay warm. Yeah. And if it's cold, they're going to be attracted to it immediately. And that's a lot of times where they'll build their nests because their nest with their eggs has to stay at a certain temperature.
Oh, yeah.
And that heat coming off those electronics is just enough to keep them from freezing or getting cold. Keep them comfortable. And then they'll hatch, kind of like an incubator.
Yeah. It's funny, though, because I forget who it was. Just me and a few of the people that are planning on moving in here, but they decided to back out last minute. But we were cleaning the house out, you know, as a team, and this lady that was with us, she's like, oh, God, Olaf, no.
Olaf, no!
She's like, don't eat the yellow snow.
Oh, God.
I was like, yeah, he ate the gray snow now. That's what's wrong with him.
Yeah. I think he might be melting.
Tried to peel him off the mattress. His nose came off.
Well, he let it go.
Yeah, he sure did.
I had a big wing.
Yeah. I was just like, well, yeah, that's not usable anymore. Man, there was all kind of weird stuff in this place. I'll never forget. I mean, of all the I only paid like $1,300 for this place, $1,400, something like that. But of all the places, this was the nastiest. But I'm really glad that I'm cleaning it up. It's taken me almost 6 months now, but I'm going to repaint, and remodel, and redo. And I'll have a nice place. It's a 3-bedroom now, but I'm planning on converting half the living room into a 4th bedroom. So
yeah, he told me that plan, and that front room is massive. Mm-hmm. So I think that would probably be a really cool idea, but I don't know about putting the new studio in the front room because it's closest to the road, and we have people, it's a gravel road. We have people that drive through here like 30, 40 mile an hour. So
I got my soundproof curtains though.
Yeah, but if you're worried about sound, I mean, you may have some background contamination.
I got that noise canceling head in this one too, and I got the microphone port. It's got noise cancellation on it from background noise.
I mean, you could see how it does, but I think this room here would be actually the best studio room. Unless those new people you want to let move in, make a bunch of noise or something.
They might. I don't know. We'll see.
Then it's probably better to be away from them. But the center of the house is probably the best bet for soundproofing anyway. But this place is pretty small, so I don't know what you would think to do.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we are hitting close to our hour mark. So, guys, I have not checked these statistics on our video yet, but I will go ahead and put that in our intro. You guys have done amazing at getting our viewer to subscriber ratio up. However, we are trying to grow this channel, so if you guys could, last time I checked, we were at 5.3% of the people who watch these videos are actually subscribed to the channel. Guys, if you like our content and you like our videos, please support our channel and the work that we do to bring you excellent content and excellent videos, such as the podcasts and all the other videos, by hitting that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications when new videos are released by us. And we will continue to make excellent content for you, and you know we will. So we will be here for you. Please be here for us. Support us by hitting that subscribe button. All right. So, thank you all so much for watching our videos. Thank you for watching. And you all have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are, whoever you are. Everybody, thank you so much. Take care. And you have an absolute wow.
And always.
And of course, everybody, always be true to yourselves.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope my interesting story was somewhat entertaining. Let's hope so.
Take care, everybody. Podcast out!